Some chains don't make a sound, but they quietly bind you every day. The habit of chasing instant gratification seems harmless at first, but slowly erodes your strength, clarity, and inner peace. In this video, we uncover the hidden cost of self-gratification and reveal how Stoic wisdom offers a powerful way out. You'll learn why true strength is not about suppressing desires, but about mastering them with clarity, patience, and deep self-awareness. Every time you resist the easy path, every time you choose purpose over impulse, you are building an unshakable core that no external storm can break. This isn't about perfection, it's about persistence, about reclaiming your mind from hidden habits that drain your life. Stay with us, because the journey to true freedom doesn't begin when the world changes. It begins the moment you decide to master yourself from within. Stepping onto the journey, liberating yourself from the habit of self-gratification. Some habits cling to us like soft chains at first. We think they are harmless, just fleeting moments of entertainment, but over time, these links lengthen and tighten, and we suddenly realize we are imprisoned by habits we have nurtured ourselves today. We embark on a difficult yet necessary journey, the journey of breaking free from the habit of self-gratification. When it comes to this habit, many choose to avoid it or face it with self-mockery, shame, or guilt. Only makes it stronger in the shadows. Instead of dramatizing it, we will approach it with a different attitude, mindfulness, and understanding, like an old soldier who has fought many battles, neither hating the enemy nor judging himself for moments of weakness. We simply recognize there are inner battles that must be fought quietly, but with unwavering courage. On the surface, self-gratification is just an act, but beneath it, what does it represent? It is our way of seeking instant pleasure to escape unease, loneliness, or inner emptiness. It is the lazy mind's way of tricking us into believing that momentary satisfaction will soothe our discomfort. But what is the reality? The more we indulge this habit, the more hollow we feel, the harder it becomes to concentrate, and the more easily we are controlled by impulsive emotions. Gradually, we lose patience, decisiveness, and the self-mastery that forms the foundation of inner freedom. Today's journey is not about condemnation or forced discipline. The goal is not to create self-hatred whenever we stumble. It is to help you realize, each time you choose not to yield to this habit, you are laying a solid brick for the house of your inner freedom. Each time you endure restlessness and overcome it, you are training the resilience needed to face greater adversities in real life. You will fail at times. There will be moments when the urge seems irresistible, but that's all right. What matters is that you are shifting your perspective from someone who easily submits to fleeting emotions to someone who can observe these emotions, understand them, and ultimately choose to act based on clear, rational thinking. Today is a beginning, not to become perfect, but to gradually reclaim control over yourself, like someone slowly freeing themselves from invisible chains, step by step, breath by breath, moving toward the light of true inner freedom. Why you must let go of this habit. The true cost of procrastination. No one wakes up one morning, looks in the mirror, and decides, today, I will waste time, lose focus, and drift further away from my goals. Yet it is precisely the small habits, the moments of surrender to instant gratification, that silently pull us away from the path we wish to walk. Self-gratification, if left unchecked, becomes a sweet trap at first. It is just a short break, a quick reward after stressful hours. But over time, this habit accumulates into an unconscious reflex. Whenever we feel bored, lonely, or under pressure, we easily seek it out as a form of escape rather than confrontation, and each time we do, a little bit of our inner strength is eroded. Imagine you're deeply focused on an important project, your mind running like a powerful machine, and suddenly temptation arises. You convince yourself, just 5 minutes of rest. But 5 minutes turns into 10, into 30, into an hour wasted on meaningless content. When you return to your work, your spirit has faded, your concentration shattered into fragments. The danger lies in this. The habit doesn't just steal your time, it silently drains your self-confidence and self-respect. Every time you fail to control yourself, you inscribe a subtle belief into your mind: I am weak, I cannot control myself. Gradually, this belief forms a downward spiral, pulling you deeper into habits of procrastination and self-indulgence. And one day, you realize you have become an expert at postponing dreams, at avoiding challenges instead of conquering them. If there were an Olympics for procrastination, you would probably be on the medal podium. But this is not a sad story. This is your wake-up call. The habit of self-gratification is not destiny. It is simply a chain of small choices, repeated long enough to become a reflex. And any reflex can be changed once you face it with mindfulness and determination. Letting go of this habit is not just about abstinence or self-control. It is an act of reclaiming sovereignty over your mind and life. It is a silent declaration that you will no longer live as someone ruled by emotions, but as someone who leads from rational clarity and steadfast will. The cost of procrastination is losing yourself, but the reward of awakening is a life you truly master. And the choice always begins at this very moment. New doors, 4 ways to escape the trap of desire. When trying to break a deeply rooted habit, if you focus only on not doing, you will almost certainly fail. The mind cannot tolerate a void to truly change. You must create new choices, new actions that are healthier and more appealing. Here are 4 key strategies to help you transform the energy of desire into the strength for personal growth. Seek healthy alternative activities. When temptation arises, don't just sit idly in emptiness. Choose an activity that can captivate your mind. It could be learning a long-forgotten skill, playing an instrument, painting, journaling, or anything that makes you lose track of time. Imagine, instead of drowning in repetitive thoughts, you are learning to play the first notes on an old guitar tucked in the corner of your room. The moment you redirect your attention, you are also rewiring your mental reflexes, gradually fading the old habit. Increased social interaction. Isolation is fertile ground for negative habits to grow when you are alone. The mind easily seeks instant gratification as a way to fill the void. So actively connect with others. A movie night with friends, a family gathering, or even a simple meetup can shift your emotional flow in the presence of others. You not only fill time, but also reconnect with the values of sharing and kinship, something no fleeting pleasure can replace. Engage in physical activity. The body and mind are intimately connected. When you move, your body releases endorphins, the natural molecules of happiness, instead of being swept away by emotional turbulence. Get up, lace up your shoes, and go for a run. Do yoga, or simply take a brisk walk outside. The refreshing feeling after exercise not only washes away the momentary urge, but also trains you to master emotions and endure temporary discomfort, essential skills for building inner resilience. Set clear goals. An empty mind easily falls prey to short-term desires, but a mind driven by clear goals knows how to reject fleeting temptations. Set goals big enough to pull you forward. Learn a new language. Complete a personal project. Master a skill needed for your career. Every time temptation arises, instead of surrendering, remind yourself of your goal. tell yourself, "The choices I make now shape the person I am becoming." Each positive action not only helps you avoid falling back into old habits, but also steadily builds a stronger, freer, more directed inner life. By consciously redirecting your energy, you are no longer a victim of passing emotions, but the master of your own journey. Action over surrender. 4. Tactical strategies. True change doesn't happen in the promises you make to yourself during emotional highs, but in the silent choices you make during your weakest moments. It is there when no one is watching, when it's just you and the surging impulses in your mind, that your actions, not your promises, define who you are. Breaking the habit of self-gratification is not merely about abstinence or forcing yourself into rigid discipline. It is the true test of inner strength. And like any worthwhile journey, it demands not vague determination, but concrete steps, practical strategies you can implement every day. Here are 4 tactical strategies we've mentioned before, but this time, we'll dig deeper to show that each small action is actually a building block for self-mastery, resilience, and inner freedom. Seek healthy alternative activities whenever you feel the urge rising. Immediately redirect yourself into a specific activity. Don't wait for the feeling to pass. Proactively create a new environment for your mind. Engage your hands with a guitar, a paintbrush, a journal, anything that demands creativity and focus. This new habit not only replaces the old one, but also nurtures your creativity, patience, and sense of progress, the foundations of a strong mind. Increase social interaction. Loneliness is fertile soil for self-destructive habits, but you don't have to fight alone. A gathering, a conversation, a cozy dinner with family is enough to pull you out of a negative spiral. Being with others not only fills the empty hours, but also reconnects you with the value of connection, friendship, and shared humanity, things no fleeting pleasure could ever replace. Engage in physical activity. When the mind is chaotic, let the body lead. A short run, a strength workout, or even a brisk walk in the park can calm the storm inside you. Movement not only releases endorphins, the body's natural happiness chemicals, but also grounds you in your own physical strength. Every time you overcome laziness to move your body, you are silently building a part of yourself that is resilient and steadfast. Set clear goals. A life without goals is like a boat adrift without a destination. When you have a clear goal, every action of your day carries weight and meaning. When you know where you are headed, the temptations along the way lose much of their appeal. Set goals large enough to inspire you, but specific enough to act upon immediately. Write them down, remind yourself daily, and let them become the compass for your every choice, especially in your most vulnerable moments. Whichever strategy you choose, the most important thing is that you act not just when it's easy, but especially when everything inside you screams for surrender. That's how you forge resilience. That's how you steadily build a free mind. A life no longer ruled by unconscious habits. You don't have to win immediately, you just need to start and keep moving forward. One action at a time. Make light of the battle. Don't overburden your journey of change. The path of self-change, especially when trying to break a deeply ingrained habit, is never a straight or easy one. There will be times you stumble, moments you find yourself slipping back into old patterns, feeling disappointed in yourself. And if in those moments you choose self-punishment and harsh judgment, the journey only grows heavier. Interestingly, one of the most powerful weapons you can wield to overcome these rough patches isn't rigid seriousness, but the ability to laugh at yourself. Learn to smile at your stumbles. See each failure not as proof of weakness, but simply as a necessary lesson on the road to growth. If procrastination were an Olympic sport, most of us would have won gold medals long ago, but that doesn't mean we must remain competitors forever. You can step off that track at any time. You can choose a new game, one where you are the one steering, not your fleeting emotions. Breaking habits isn't about achieving instant victory. It's a long journey where true triumph comes from simply not giving up. Even on the days you falter, every time you rise after falling, every time you choose mindful action over unconscious reaction, you are building another layer of armor for your willpower. Remember, inner freedom doesn't demand perfect behavior. It demands persistence. It calls for a steady mind that doesn't lose itself in a single misstep. It requires gentleness with yourself, a light humor to ease the pressure, and courage to keep walking, however rugged the path may be. When you learn to smile at your inner struggles, you also learn to see life with broader compassion. You realize that failure doesn't make you small, rather, it is how you respond to failure that defines the person you become. Humor, in this case, is not about trivializing your efforts. It is the subtle wisdom of recognizing that every fall is just as valuable as every leap forward. And just like an acrobat learning a new trick, no one expects you to perfect it on the first try. What matters is that you keep practicing, keep showing up, and keep moving forward. So if you stumble again today, get up, dust yourself off, smile quietly, and carry on. Remember, you are not here to become perfect. You are here to become unbreakable. The journey to inner freedom doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with a simple, persistent determination to always rise, to always move forward, with a quiet smile for yourself, standing firm amidst turmoil when emotional waves rise. Choose stillness. Here's a truth few dare to face. The strongest urges often arise not when we are weak, but when we are in the middle of real change, like mighty waves swelling when the tide turns. Emotional storms will come to test your resolve. You will feel the urges surge during moments of emptiness, loneliness, stress, or insecurity. In those moments, your mind will whisper persuasive reasons. Just once, just 5 minutes. It won't matter. And if you are not prepared, you'll easily slip back into the old cycle. But here, you have another choice. You can choose to do nothing. Don't react impulsively. Don't surrender to fleeting emotions. Don't flee from the discomfort that rises inside you. Simply stand still, observe, breathe, and let it pass. The secret isn't to extinguish emotions. It's to refuse to let emotions dictate your actions. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a storm. You don't need to fight the wind or shout against the thunder. You only need to find a steady anchor within yourself. Dig deeper roots and let the storm pass on its own. Each time you endure an emotional wave without acting impulsively, you are forging a new layer of inner armor. Each time you sit with uncomfortable feelings without fleeing or judging, you grow a little more inside. Resilience is not about never feeling temptation or weakness. It's about feeling them fully and still choosing not to fall. By accepting urges as a natural part of the change process, you will no longer fear them. You will no longer see their appearance as failure. You will see them as tests, opportunities to build greater strength within. Just as muscles grow under pressure, willpower only strengthens under challenge. And each time you stand firm, you are not just rejecting fleeting pleasure, you are affirming to yourself, I am strong enough to endure this temporary discomfort because I know what I'm reaching for is infinitely greater. Choosing stillness amid turmoil is not passive resignation. It is the highest form of inner power and active silence, a trained calmness. a freedom born from no longer being enslaved by impulsive instincts. Each time you endure a wave without being swept away, you grow steadier, more resilient. You are no longer merely trying to quit a bad habit. You are becoming a new kind of person, a person who cannot be shaken, no matter how wild the world becomes. That strength, that resilience comes from nowhere else but within you. And every time you choose stillness over surrender, you unlock a deeper level of inner power you have always carried within you. Clarity in fragile moments, the art of conscious choice. There are seemingly insignificant moments throughout your day that, in reality, determine the course of your life. A dull afternoon, a lonely night, a fleeting moment of hesitation between sticking to your goals or surrendering to fleeting pleasures. In these moments, your path splits in two directions, one toward inner freedom and one toward deeper enslavement to unconscious patterns. The difference does not lie in what you feel. Everyone feels temptation. Everyone experiences inner struggles. The difference lies in how you think during these fragile moments. When urges arise, the mind easily falls into a haze. You feel a strong pull toward instant gratification. If you are not alert, you will be swept away without realizing it. But if you pause, even for a single breath, if you can activate clear thinking in that moment, everything changes. Ask yourself simple yet powerful questions. Does this action bring me closer to the person I want to become? How will I feel about this in 10 minutes, in 10 days, in 10 years? Am I acting out of clarity or out of fleeting emotions? These questions are like lighthouses, shining through the fog of emotions. They pull you back toward your long-term goals, reminding you that you are not a slave to emotions. You are the one who chooses. Clarity does not come from never being tempted. It comes from training yourself to recognize fragile moments and choose consciously, like a seasoned warrior. You don't act on every impulse. You create a small gap between emotion and action. That pause, even if it lasts only a few seconds, is where true freedom is born. That pause is where you reclaim control over your life. That pause is the sign that you are living consciously, not being swept away by unconscious habits. Decisiveness, in this context, is not rashness or extremism. It is the ability to make firm decisions based on your values and goals, not your fleeting emotions. Decisiveness is the ability to say no clearly and firmly when faced with temptations that would pull you off your chosen path. And most importantly, every time you make the right choice in a fragile moment, no matter how small, you are strengthening your resilience. You are teaching your mind that you are the one at the helm, not a ship adrift in emotional storms. This is how you build clarity. This is how you become decisive. And this is how you move steadily closer to true inner freedom. True freedom, when emotions no longer lead you. Freedom is the ultimate desire hidden deep within every human heart. We long to be free from external constraints, money, status, the judgment of others, but true. Lasting freedom does not come from controlling the outside world. It comes from mastering our inner world. And on the journey of breaking free from self-destructive habits, like self-gratification, what you are truly seeking is not just to stop a behavior. You are seeking a deeper kind of freedom, the freedom of no longer being led by emotions, no longer letting short-term cravings dictate the direction of your life. The habit of self-gratification, like any pattern of chasing instant pleasure, is not a problem because of the act itself. The problem lies in this: every time we give in, we are unconsciously telling ourselves that our desires are stronger than our will. We are programming our minds to believe, I cannot control myself. I must obey my emotions. And little by little, we surrender our inner power. Conversely, every time you recognize a powerful emotion rising and choose not to act on it, you reclaim a piece of your inner kingdom. Every time you say no to an impulse, you affirm a vital principle. Emotions may come and go, but they no longer dictate your actions. Inner freedom is not the absence of emotion. A free person is not someone who no longer feels desire, longing, or weakness. A free person is someone who can look directly into the storm within, feel its full force, and still choose to walk the path laid out by their reason and values. There will be days when temptation roars louder. There will be moments when you feel torn apart between surrender and steadfastness. But if you have ever overcome once, you will know every wave eventually breaks, every emotion eventually passes, and what remains is you, the one who stood firm. Inner freedom grows in the moments when you endure temporary discomfort for the sake of a lasting ideal. It grows in the silent choices, unseen by others, when you remain loyal to yourself rather than succumbing to fleeting satisfaction. One day, when you look back, you will realize that refusing a seemingly small habit like self-gratification led to profound changes. You became more focused, more resilient, more self-possessed. You thought more clearly, acted more decisively. Most importantly, you felt a quiet peace, a peace no one else could give you, and no one else could take away. True freedom is not doing whatever you want. True freedom is the ability to want the right things. It is the ability to refuse short-term temptations in order to stay true to higher values and greater goals. And that journey, the journey of building inner freedom, is not a destination. It is a way of living, moment by moment, day by day, each conscious choice, each act of steadfastness, each moment you stand firm amid emotional storms. This is when your freedom grows. You do not need to prove this to anyone. You do not need anyone's approval, because inner freedom, once achieved, is the greatest reward and the most unshakable power you will ever possess.